Welcome to part two of your coaching session for today. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson. Well, the emphasis is not on enjoyment but transformation, right? So let us quickly do some checkpoints. Did you watch today's video? Did you take notes so that you could extract the core lessons that I taught today? I keep those videos short deliberately so that you can spend some 15 quality minutes each day and you pick out some core lessons that would transform your life for good. But you will not be able to pick up those lessons if you don't pay attention. So that's why I encourage you to always take notes. The second checkpoint is that after your video lesson, you're supposed to do the reflective exercise that is based on your life story, because through those exercises, I help you to reflect on your life and then use that reflection to write a script of the new you that you and I are creating together. Does that make sense? So there is no pain that you've gone through that you cannot turn into gain. There is no scar in your life that you cannot turn into stars. In fact, there is no crisis in your life that you cannot turn into a triumph. So when you reflect on your past life, it's not because you're looking for someone to blame or you're looking to awaken some wounds. It's because you are actually, what you're doing is self-therapy. You're digging into the hidden recesses of your subconscious mind, awakening the hidden programs that have been running your life, shining the light of this new enlightenment and faith and love upon them, and then transforming them. So take those exercises seriously. Toward the end, you'll be amazed at what you've achieved. The third exercise is the reflective exercise on the book of the day, the book chapter of the day. So every day I provide you one new book and I give you an assignment to read one chapter and write a reflection on. These 40 books that you're going to receive, throughout this coaching program are the 40 best inspirational and personal transformation books ever written. Throughout my life, I have read more than 5,000 of such books and scientific articles, motivational tapes, spiritual meditations, hours upon hours with mentors, hours upon hours in seminars and so on. Then you have the thousands of people that I have worked with as a mentor and a coach and a teacher. So my capacity to help you handpick a handful of books that have a transformational potential in your life, it's beyond any reasonable doubt. So trust me on that. Do your part by reading the books, the chapters that I've given you, and doing your reflective exercise. By the end of the coaching program, the books will be yours, right? So you can now set a target that throughout the year 2022, you will have read all these 40 books, right? Imagine how different your life will be if you consume all of that material in 1 year. So that was a checkpoint to make sure that you did those 3 things, and in fact, every single day, make sure you do those 3 things. The reason why we have a 40-day program is strategic. Has it ever occurred to you that Jesus spent 40 days in the wilderness, to prepare for his ministry? Has it ever occurred to you that when God led the Israelites out of Egypt, he kept them in the wilderness for 40 years? They did not need 40 years to get to the promised land, because from Egypt to Palestine is just a couple of hours. So why did they have to spend 40 years in the wilderness? Because they had to prepare. So my message for you is that without preparation, you cannot enter your promised land. And in fact, Even if they were to drop you into your promised land without you being prepared, you will still die of hunger. And that is why there's opportunity all around us. Some people are thriving, others are starving. It's not about the external circumstances, it's about you. Some years ago, 2007, 2008, when I was in Cameroon, I was a superstar giving motivational talks, inspirational, seminars, educational programs on TV and radio. One of my mentors at the time, Mr. Michael Boyo, who happened to be my boss also at the time, asked me a very pertinent question. He said, Godfrey, all this inspiration and empowerment that you're giving to people, what tools are you providing to them that will help them to translate this power into results? At the time, I took the question for granted because I knew what I loved doing, inspiring people. I wasn't interested in business at the time. But fast forward 12 years later, that question has slapped me in the face big time. You see, in 2016, I was rector of a polytechnic in Cameroon. And that was a year when the Anglophone crisis, erupted and deteriorated into a conflict that has now, rendered millions of children, without education, millions of people living in other places as refugees and internally displaced people, thousands of people dead, thousands of businesses lost, and all of that. Those of us who found ourselves out of the country, while we're struggling to get our feet on the ground, what happened? The global COVID-19 pandemic, took the world by storm. And when you put all of these things together with other crises that are going on in other countries, one thing becomes apparent. The world as we used to know it does not exist anymore. Our educational systems have failed. Our governments have failed. Our healthcare systems have failed. Global governance has failed. Community structures have failed. Every religious, paradigms or dogmas have failed. What the world is going through now is the unrest, the entropy, the chaos that is signaling the breaking of a new dawn. And so this is not meant to frighten you. This is meant to make you laugh and smile that this is the best time to be alive. Because if you are alive during the time when everything has been reduced to rubble, it means that you have the freedom to create the new thing that you desire. You don't need anybody's permission anymore. You don't need any standard anymore. You don't need, you don't need capital. You don't need to know anybody. You don't need all the crazy excuses that we used to give. Oh, it's university degrees, belonging to a court, belonging to a certain network or church and so on. All of that is garbage. Right now, every system has crumbled, and those who are thriving now are those who are taking things into their hands and building the new solutions that the world needs. And that is how you should be thinking. So, it happens that it is also within this crisis period that I am celebrating my 40th birthday. And in my culture, they say life begins at 40. So for more than 20 years, I've been inspiring and empowering people. And this is a new beginning for me too. And my promise to you is that we are taking a giant leap from inspiration to results. So the second part of your coaching sessions for each day is going to be to watch this exact same video, right? But at the end of it, you're going to have a new resource for each day. Why? For each of the 40 days that we are going to be together, I'm going to give you one new resource one new tool or one new opportunity that you can use to apply this transformation that we are doing in your life so that you can create the miracle that you want. Most people spend their lives trying to change physical things using physical means. They don't realize that it is the non-physical that creates the physical. It is the spiritual that creates the material, right? There are 5 domains, 5 dimensions to your being: the spiritual dimension, the subconscious dimension, the intellectual dimension, the physical dimension, and the environmental or social dimension. So it is only when you shift your spiritual identity that you're able to shift your subconscious paradigm. When you shift your subconscious paradigm, then you transform your perception or your mindset or your goals. When those mindsets or goals change, then your behaviors change. And when all these 4 non-physical things change, your results automatically change. So this coaching program is designed to tackle those 4 things that almost nobody is talking about because everybody is busy with physical things. Oh, this seminar, how to sell, how to trade, how to do crypto, how to lose weight, how to. The physical things, you can turn yourself into a gym rat or starve yourself to death. You will not be healthy. You can become an expert trader and know how to hack the stock market, but you don't get rich because it first begins inside. So when we do the inner work, you'll be able to apply the outer tools and create miracles. So the 40 tools and opportunities and resources that I'll be recommending to you, you don't need all of them, okay? Every day, at the end of each session, you'll be able to visit the link and read about it or watch a video about it and ask yourself whether this is what you want, whether it resonates with something you need right now or sometime in the future, and just have an open mind until you find what you want, what you need, what you desire. Then grab it and run with it. Because at the end of the day, all you need is 1 or 2 systems that you can use to apply this transformation work we are doing, and then your life will be completely different. So before we move into the revealing the resource or the tool for the day, let me give you an overview of the success code, because I realize that the reason why most people are not living the life they want is because they don't even have a blueprint for the success they want. Imagine that you want to create music, but there is no you don't write the music. There is no musical notes that have been composed. There's no composition for that music. How will the music come about? There will only be noise. Imagine that you want to build a house, but you don't have a plan. How are you going to have a house? You're just going to have piles of bricks, right? Imagine that this video, if there was no software that this video was running on, how would it reach you? In fact, even the device that you're using, if Apple or Samsung did not have a blueprint that they were using to make phones, they would have just picked up a piece of metal and sent it to you, right? So, in fact, even the body that you look at in the mirror is coded by a genetic code. So every life form, everything in nature is a manifestation of a code or a pattern or a blueprint. And so the easiest way you can hack success in your life is to find a success code and build your life around it. And that is what I'm giving you right now. So the success code is made up of 12 building blocks. The first one is spiritual awareness, which means becoming aware of your spiritual identity, because you are not a body, you are a spirit. Most people are still living their lives from the evidence of the senses, so they are still living like animals, based on survival instinct and survival of the fittest. But you need to transcend that ego, that sense consciousness, and immerse yourself in your spiritual essence. That is the first domain of success, which of course we cover in this coaching program. The second pillar of success is your emotional well-being. Your emotions drive your thoughts, but where do your emotions come from? They come from your paradigm or your belief system, which is the software that is operating within your subconscious mind. It was put there by the programming of your childhood, your religion, your education, your government, propaganda, the media, all your past experiences. All of those constitute your paradigm, which creates your sense of your personality, your self-esteem, and your sense of purpose, all of that. So because most of it is negative, we are going to use this coaching program to transform it, and then you'll be able to experience emotional well-being. The third pillar of success, the third building block of the success code, is intellectual awakening, creative intelligence. Most people have their brains in a box. Which box? The social conditioning, the paradigm that I just talked about. And when your brain is in that box of social conditioning, you don't think. If you don't think, then you're not human, because the intellect is the gift that makes us different from the rest of the animal kingdom. And so if you're not thinking, then you're not in control of your life. So from there, we move to the fourth building block of success, which is harmony with nature. You as an individual, you are part of the cosmos. You are a microcosm of this universe. You are a holographic image of the universe. So the more aligned you are with nature through your lifestyle, the more you become healthy, the more you become empowered, the more you live, from the energy of the universe. So that brings us to the fifth pillar of success, which is health and wellness. In fact, nobody needs to tell you that since your body is your vehicle that you're using to live life, that body needs to be in health and in good shape in order for you to be able to do the work you do and enjoy the life you want to enjoy. So we move to the sixth pillar of success, which is empowering relationships. And we are emotional beings, we are social beings, we need support systems, we need friendship, we need affection, we need romance, we need family. And so your success paradigm needs to incorporate this. If you're chasing success at the expense of your relationships, then you are a failure. The seventh pillar is genuine self-expression. And by self-expression, I mean the things that when you are doing, you are fully alive, you are in bliss, you feel like a child. You usually consider them as your hobby, or some of them you know them as your gifts and your talents. The truth about life is that these are the things that you're actually supposed to spend your life doing. But the world has conditioned you to be chasing, jobs and dollars and all of that at the expense of who you truly are. The key is to discover who you truly are, then find the work that aligns with that natural self, so that when you are working, it will be like you are playing. So that brings us to the eighth pillar, which is career excellence. When you find the profession or the business that aligns with your inner essence, then you live in bliss. When you live in bliss, your success becomes effortless. When your success is effortless, you are in health. When you are in health, you're able to serve more people, and wealth comes naturally. This brings us to the ninth pillar of success, which is financial abundance. You need a lot of money in order to live even the barest respectable life, decent life, because Money pays for education, it pays for healthcare, it pays for housing, it pays for transportation, it pays for communication. Money pays for everything. Even those who say that money cannot buy happiness, I wonder how happy your partner usually is when you forget to buy them a gift for their birthday. I mean, you pretend to forget because you don't have money to buy a gift. Or I wonder how happy you are when they send your kids away for fees from school. So things like happiness and love and peace of mind, they are intangible. We cannot buy them from the supermarket. But the more money you have, the more freedom you have. The more freedom you have, the more choices you have. The more choices you have, the more peace and happiness you will have, and the more love you will have. That is a promise. So we come to the 10th pillar of success, which is quality time or freedom in general. If you don't have time to spend with your loved ones, you don't have time to travel, you don't have time to see the world, you don't have time for your community, it doesn't matter how much money you have. And unfortunately, most people have too much money and too less time, and that's why their relationships suffer, that's why their health suffers and all of that. So you want to model your life in a way that you have enough time to do the things that make your life meaningful. The 11th pillar of success is service, impact, contribution, or what I love to call a legacy. Most of us, if not all of us, we are good people at heart. The average person wants to do good to other people. But I always joke about this fact that you cannot help someone else if you have not helped yourself first, right? In fact, I have so many mentees and friends who are struggling to set up NGOs and run charity projects and so on. And I keep asking, what have you created for yourself, first of all, that you're trying to solve other people's problems? I prefer the kind of service that is an overflow of your own success. So structure your life in a way that you will thrive, first of all, and then let that abundance overflow to others. Because it's not only the material things you give to people that helps them. In fact, the material things you give to people don't help them. It can save them from hunger for today. But what people need the most is inspiration and empowerment. When you transform yourself from those humble beginnings to this super successful and influential person, you inspire everyone who comes from the same background like you to know that they too can do same. When you give people inspiration and empowerment, it is priceless. So strive to excel, and then let your excellence serve others so that you can leave a true legacy, not just charity. Finally, we come to the 12th pillar of success, which is perpetual growth. One thing you have to face is that life is always evolving. The universe is constantly expanding. And so success is not a certain ride that has a bus stop. There is no end. Whenever you reach a new summit emerges. And so lifelong learning, continuing self-improvement, reaching for higher goals, continuing to invest in yourself, that is what true success is about. So when you put these 12 building blocks together, you have the success code. And when you have the success code to work with, it becomes apparent to you that it doesn't matter where you're starting from, right? Because all you need to do is wake up each day and, go out with the one intention, the sole intention of creating the better version of yourself that day. If you come home with the assurance that today you created the better version of yourself, then you have succeeded that day. And you see that there is no price tag, there is no measuring scale for these 12 building blocks of success, meaning that all you need is an effort in each of these areas on a day-to-day basis you transform it into a journey that you are in love with, and that is how in a couple of months or years no one will be able to recognize you anymore. So now that you have the success code, at your disposal, I invite you now to go to your resource and discover what I have in store for you today. As a reminder, you don't need to use all the resources I'm giving you. My goal is to give you one new resource each day, so that by the end of these 40 days, you must have found the one that works for you. The only way that this coaching program will not transform your life is if you refuse to work. I want to make it impossible for you to remain the same by day 40. Do we have a deal? If you do your exercise, you watch your coaching video for the day, you do your personal reflection exercise based on your life story, you do your personal reflection exercise based on the book that I've given you, you watch this video, and then you take a look at the resource that I provide for the day. By the end of these 40 days, your life will not be the same. Let me repeat, you don't need 40 resources, you don't need 40 tools, you don't need 40 opportunities. You need that one tool, that one opportunity, that one strategy, that one opportunity that you can work with, transform this empowerment that you're receiving through this coaching program into that resource and create the miracle that you have been expecting. Because at the end of the day, the magic is not in those procedures, it's not in those techniques, it's not in those strategies. The magic is in you. So let us turn you into the magic. Let us turn you into the power. Let us turn you into the answer. Let us turn you into the secret. And then you pick the one strategy that resonates with you, the one product that resonates with you, and turn it into results. That is how we are going to do it. Congratulations, because I already see the marvelous version of you, the sublime version of you, the magnificent version of you that is evolving. Take note that even though you're going to watch this same video in part 2 of your coaching session each day, each time you watch it, you're going to discover something new. So don't take it for granted, or don't say, I already watched it. Watch this video every day. In fact, let us even use it as a challenge to cultivate a new sense of self-discipline in you. Apart from what you're going to be gaining from the video, challenge yourself to watch this same video every day for 40 days. If you succeed to do that, then you would have cultivated a habit to change anything that you want to change in your life, because you will be the master of your mind, the master of your body, the master of your circumstances.